Tonight on Newsbeat, women's marches took place all over the country following the president's inauguration, including some here in Louisiana.
Also, we have news on tobacco and a little bit of campus stuff.
And President Trump is already hard at work in his first week in the White House.
All this and more on Newsbeat now. Hello and welcome to Newsbeat. I'm Nadine Abusada.
And I'm Matt Houston. Thank you for joining us. More than 1 million people on all 7 continents participated in women's marches over the weekend, and New Orleans had over 10,000 protesters of its own. The protesters marched the days after President Trump's inauguration to show their opposition to comments he's made on women, gender equality, the LGBT community, and minority groups. Additionally, in New Orleans, a subgroup of protesters marched at what they called the Jazz Funeral for Democracy. Loyola law professor Bill Quigley, who's helped organize protests in New Orleans for 40 years, said he'd never seen a demonstration so big. The marchers made it clear that they do not intend to stop protesting for the duration of Trump's administration.
Just another Tuesday quickly turned into a battle of religion in Free Speech Alley. Today, after a woman in her church group used an unconventional object to get her message across.
The love of God is not what you're preaching.
Bloody tampon. It represents sin.
The group that comes down from Mississippi that called Consuming Fire professes to be Christians. They adhere to a philosophy called Pelagianism.
Students, their choice is the bloody tampon or the bloody Christ. The bloody tampon is choosing sin and selfishness and the party animal lifestyle. That's the idol on this campus, the party animal lifestyle.
Hey, this is our campus. I don't understand what you're doing here. I won't let the gospel of God be corrupted and tainted by what he's saying. So I'm going to go out of my way and frustrate myself to make sure that my students, my family, my Tiger family knows that Jesus is not whatever he's saying Jesus is, because it's not. Jesus is love and Jesus is life.
Look at that form!
Sir. The group is currently going on tour of college campus throughout the country. The student union is filled with many different resources for students to use and take advantage of. One of these new features is a barbershop named Dorm Room Cuts. Dorm Room Cuts is located on the first floor of the student union. It is open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays by appointments. The barbershop adds some convenience for students for looking to get a quick trim on campus. The new campus employees are excited for all of the things they have to offer students.
I work here at Dorm Room Cuts in LSU Student Union. Just a little bit of what we offer. We do silk presses for natural hair. We do relaxed hair. We do transitioning hair. We do basically all ethnicities. We don't turn around anyone. We do braids, sew-ins, colors, cuts, trims, and then we also cut men's hair.
Regardless of the effectiveness of smoke-free zones on campuses like LSU's, tobacco sales are actually decreasing nationwide. Now, this new information comes to us from tobacco on campus, and we have all sorts of information, especially around Middleton Library, where many of these problems face students on a daily basis.
LSU students have a new breakfast option. LSU students have a new breakfast option. Chick-fil-A is now serving breakfast, announced at the beginning of the semester. That would include biscuits, chicken minis, and all kinds of options. They will be serving at 7:30 in the morning. Senior Director of Operations for LSU Dining, Andy Gaudiano, explains the importance of the Chick-fil-A biscuits.
We don't serve this at McDonald's, at Einstein's, in the dining halls, or French Quarter Cafe. You can only get the chicken biscuit at Chick-fil-A.
After the break, we'll take a look at what President Trump is doing during his first full week in office.
Stay with us.
President Trump has wasted no time his first week in office. He signed executive orders today restoring the heavily debated Keystone XL pipeline and Dakota Access pipelines. The Obama administration halted the pipeline projects after protests and pressure from environmental groups ensued. President Trump said that his administration will reconsider both pipelines to assist construction workers. However, the projects could be subject to renegotiation of terms. Additional executive orders signed include one decreasing environmental regulations on infrastructure projects and one maximizing the use of U.S. steel. CNN has more.
From this day forward,
for President Trump, this is what
America first
looks like. Trump meeting with the heads of the big three automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Fiat Chrysler.
We're bringing manufacturing back to the United States, big league.
Highlighting incentives that would get automakers to build in the U.S.
We're reducing taxes very substantially, and we're reducing unnecessary regulation.
Trump flexed his broad executive powers once again.
Keystone Pipeline.
Signing orders that advance approval of the controversial Keystone XL and Dakota Access oil pipelines. The president also vowed to slash environmental regulations.
This is about streamlining the incredibly cumbersome, long, horrible permitting process and reducing regulatory burdens.
The move will almost certainly reignite a battle with environmental and Native American groups who have recently protested construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. On Capitol Hill, Trump's pick to head the Health and Human Services Department, Congressman Tom Price, is once again defending himself on claims of ethical misconduct.
Everything that we have done has been above board, transparent, ethical, and legal.
And for the first time, answering questions on Trump's executive order to weaken Obamacare.
I guarantee you that the individuals that lost coverage under the Affordable Care Act, we will commit to making certain that they don't lose coverage under whatever replacement plan comes forward.
In Washington, Diane Gallagher.
We apologize for technical difficulties, but President Trump also announced that he intends to nominate a Supreme Court justice to fill Antonin Scalia's seat next week. Fox News reports that multiple top senators have been invited to the White House to consider Trump's upcoming nominee. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan stated, quote, "It's about time." Take a look at what President had to say this morning.
Sometime next week, I'll be making my decision. This week, we'll be announcing. Next week, we have outstanding candidates, and we will pick a truly great Supreme Court justice. But I'll be announcing it sometime next week.
Also helping President Trump's campaign promises, Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy from right here in Baton Rouge could be the one to implement the replacement for Obamacare. Along with Senator Susan Collins of Maine, Cassidy introduced the Patient Freedom Act of 2017. It could serve as the partial replacement for the Affordable Care Act. Cassidy's legislation would allow states to continue operating under the Affordable Care Act if they choose. However, it's still uncertain if Cassidy's plan will win support from both sides of the aisle in Congress. Take a look at what our senior Louisiana senator has to say about his health care plan.
I'll be announcing it sometime next week. Supreme Court justice.
Tax credits, giving them to Americans to allow Americans to choose the insurance they wish to buy without a Washington, D.C. prescribed solution. We like that. We think it works for everybody, whether they're in New York, Maine, or Louisiana. That's where we're pointed.
Also in healthcare, the Council of Medicare Integrity conducted a study on states with the most Medicare waste spending, and Louisiana does not rank well. The finding ranked Louisiana as a state with the seventh highest amount of Medicare waste per person benefiting from the program. But the upside is that Louisiana dropped from being fifth on the list down to seventh. And Louisiana, the Medicare waste spending per beneficiary is $15.41. Although this does not compare to the Medicare waste in Washington, D.C. at $30.90 per beneficiary, the organization's spokeswoman Kristen Walker said Medicare loses more money to improper payments than any other government program.
For those who might be tired of the same old king cake flavors, the Audubon Butterfly Garden and Insectarium has a new topping that might make your skin crawl. We'll be right back.
For the more adventurous eaters, the Audubon Insectarium in New Orleans has a unique king cake topping that you would never expect: crickets. That's right, you can actually eat the Mardi Gras treat with insects on top.
Cricket king cake is available at the museum's popular insect kitchen from now until Mardi Gras. According to the insectarium employees, the crickets provide a crunchy, nutty flavor to the king cakes for those brave enough to try. That is all the time we have for today, but you can keep up with us at lsunow.com and on social media.
Thanks for watching. Have a phenomenal evening, Tigers.